Okay. So welcome back to this afternoon session, and we are going to have a session on development of assessments in an online course. We have the resource person already joined. So I request Ms. Preeti to introduce the resource person and also to moderate the session. Sorry, Kirti.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. We have Dr. Ajita Deshmukh with us for the session on development of assessment in online course. So I would like to introduce Dr. Ajita. She's a passionate chemistry educator, keen towards making quality chemistry education accessible and fun. Her popular podcast titled Chemistry, spelled as CHEMYSTERY, has been awarded at the 25th National AICEAVF. Her expertise makes a popular face for NCERT sessions and HRDC of various universities. She currently works with the School of Education and Research, MIT ADT University, Pune, as a program leader for MSc e-learning. She's also a mentor and hub coordinator for Open Education for Better World, a UNESCO project by University of Nova Gorica, Slovenia. So the session is over to you, Dr. Ajita. Can you hear, ma'am?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Ajita, you can go ahead.
Yes.
There is a little of echo.
From my side?
Yeah, it was little. You can continue. If there is more disturbance, I'll let you know.
Okay. So let's go with the, let me just start sharing the screen first. And yes. So here we are with development of assessment in the online courses. We are going to start with what is the meaning of assessment, and there's going to be quite some interactivity. I will be posting some links here.
Dr. Ajita, just one small input, though you are aware. First itself, people are telling like thoda bilingual hona chahiye.
Yes, I will be going bilingual, don't worry. Okay, so this particular session will be as interactive as possible. तो हम काफी सारी चीजें एक दूसरे के साथ शेयर करेंगे. यहाँ पर मैं नहीं चाहती कि मैं एकदम कोई बहुत बड़ा ज्ञान तो नहीं देने वाली हूँ. आप लोगों को भी उतना ही या शायद मुझसे ज्यादा भी असेसमेंट के बारे में पता होगा. What I'm going to do is tell you how to develop assessment in online course. So online course में assessment थोड़ा different होता है, थोड़ा अलग होता है. So that is what we are actually going to look here. And I would request everyone to be as interactive as possible. I have tried to keep even some few things where आप लोग thumbs up, ये सारे Zoom के features भी use कर सकते हैं. So let's just go ahead and just see what we are going to do in the session today and the practicals that are going to be in continuation with this. तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे? We will first try to understand कि assessment एक online course के अंदर किस तरीके से लिया जाता है, उसके फर्क क्या है, उसके टाइप्स क्या हैं. I'm quite sure 2 सालों में during the pandemic everyone has used some or the other digital tools. तो हम उसी को लेकर के हम थोड़ा सोचेंगे कि is this one type of assessment, is this another type of assessment, क्या फर्क है, and then we will see how the course analytics come into the picture and how assessment can be used to develop and improve what? Apna online course, because that is the whole purpose of assessment in general. And anytime you wish to have any question, you can put it in the chat box, and if you really want to say it, just raise your hand. If it is going to come up in the explanation, it's okay. If you want to stop me there and ask, that is also okay. But just to avoid बहुत सारे लोग साथ में बात करें, we will just keep that raise hand option open. Okay. I can see some 3 chats. Yes. Screen is shared. I can see the screen, and everyone else is also able to see the screen, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Hemanji. Yes. All right. So here comes the first activity. And here I डोंट विश टू से दैट ओ आप सिर्फ टीचर की तरह बात कीजिए, ठीक है। मैं थोड़ी देर के लिए स्क्रीन शेयर स्टॉप करूंगी क्योंकि मुझे आपको सिर्फ एक लिंक शेयर करनी है चैट में। सो आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू शेयर इट विथ यू इन द चैट बॉक्स। दिस इज द मेंटीमीटर जो हम लेंगे और मैं मेंटीमीटर का स्क्रीन ही दिखाऊं। सो जैसे ही हम असेसमेंट सोचते हैं तो क्या आता है दिमाग में? असेसमेंट एज अ स्टूडेंट, एज अ टीचर, क्या क्या चीजें होती हैं? कैन यू जस्ट पुट इट अप ऑन द मेंटीमीटर? आई विल स्टार्ट शेयरिंग द मेंटीमीटर पार्ट। I can see 5-6 people have already commented. Very nice. That means कि हम बहुत फटाफट से कर सकते हैं। Best है। Good. I can see a lot of people and I'm going to share the screen. Just 1 second. Oh, see, the word cloud is like full of comments. आप लोगों ने जो भी comments दिए हैं, lots and lots of things are coming up. People are putting up lot of words here: evaluation, marks, examination, grading, learning outcomes, questions, knowing thoughts, okay, physical, emotional, qualification of learning, quality of learning. Okay, that's great. So many people sharing so many things about evaluation. अच्छा, किसी को डर भी लग रहा है क्या इवैल्यूएशन के नाम से? Nobody is saying I am afraid. सीखने की गति का आकलन, that's very nice. And I would take this opportunity कि ना आपने हिंदी में टाइप करके, मतलब देवनागरी स्क्रिप्ट में आपने टाइप करके लिखा है, बहुत ही like appreciable है ये। मार्क्स, क्विज, ओके, लेकिन शायद किसी ने ये नहीं लिखा है। हम सब अभी टीचर मोड में ही है लगता है मुझे। हम में से कोई स्टूडेंट मोड में नहीं जा रहा, कि कोई ये नहीं लिख रहा कि किसी को डर भी लग रहा है एग्जाम का। That's also fine, doesn't matter. But yes, there are lots of things, right? When we talk about assessment, तो हमें क्या-क्या चीजें होती हैं? And there are, like, the moment you start saying about assessment, quality of learning is also something that people are talking in the chat box. Yeah. So let's just see actually what is it when we talk about the word assessment. There are two types of things, two types of views, I would say, that come into the picture. One would be the student's views, the other would be the teacher's views, right? तो एक स्टूडेंट के लिए क्या होता है असेसमेंट, या स्टूडेंट के लिए क्यों जरूरी होता है असेसमेंट? ऑफ कोर्स आप लोग जानते हैं, लेकिन एक ऑनलाइन लर्निंग में स्टूडेंट के लिए क्यों जरूरी है? सिर्फ ग्रेडिंग, सिर्फ मार्क्स, सिर्फ अंडरस्टैंडिंग की क्षमता वो खुद भी तो जानेगा, वो अपने लर्निंग को सेल्फ इवैल्यूएट करेगा, बिकॉज what the NEP is talking about, and also what is 21st century learning is all about making learners self-directed learners. मतलब अगर मुझे कोई चीज नहीं समझ आ रही उतने ठीक से, जितने ठीक से एक टीचर समझा रही है एक पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट में, तो मुझे ये क्लियरली होना चाहिए कि हाँ ये मुझे नहीं समझ में आया है, तो मुझे दोबारा से इस चीज को देखना है। ये मेरा अपना पर्सपेक्टिव है, ना कि उस सिर्फ एग्जाम और ग्रेड के लिए। सो एक लर्नर also needs to self-evaluate the learning. The online assessment has to be focused in a way where the student will understand own capabilities, self-evaluate own understanding, own learning, own comprehension, and go towards becoming a independent, self-directed learner. And of course, थोड़ा बहुत तो ये भी होता है, किसी के दूसरे के मार्क्स देख के बुरा लगने से ज्यादा मोटिवेट होना चाहिए। So if I see someone in my class, because online classes में अक्सर ये होता है कि हमारे स्कूल के ही बच्चे या हम सिर्फ स्कूल के लोग नहीं होते, एक इंस्टीट्यूशन के लोग नहीं होते, उस ऑनलाइन कोर्स में the diversity of the learners is much higher. So if I see someone who comes from a very different type of a background, who comes from a different age group maybe, I should be motivated that yes, even I can do something like that particular person. So assessment also serves with this. And of course, जो आप लोगों ने जितना भी बोला था उतना, some main points I put in the teacher's view. That is, yes, achievement, learning outcomes, जो आपने हिंदी में लिखा था, और कुछ लोगों ने इंग्लिश में भी इस बात को लिखा था, determine learning, कितना learn हुआ उसकी क्षमता को देखें. So I tried to put it into points here. I have put up your points only, don't worry. And then, of course, the third one is, I didn't see this point, so I typed it out when you people were filling up the Mentimeter. That is my instructional strategy that I have used, is it effective? कभी कभी ये भी होता है ना कि मुझे लग रहा है कि शायद से ये बहुत अच्छे से काम करेगा in the class, but maybe it doesn't work that way. Like maybe I have decided to use Mentimeter just now. I will go back and see that how many people actually took the Mentimeter, what is the time, how much is the chat, में कितना messages आया, and then maybe I can change my instructional strategy later. Okay, so it also allows me as an instructor, as a teacher, it gives me a feedback about my instructional strategies, whether this exam, this assessment works or it doesn't work. Okay, so for the teachers, it is this particular set. For the students, this is another set. But yes, assessment is a major part of all the teaching learning process. No teaching learning process can be completed without assessment. Assessment in any format. And in India especially, we are having a fetish for exams. हम ना हर चीज में हमारे पास एग्जाम होती है, right? Be it board exams, be it university exams, be it entrance exams, be it UPSC, be it everything. We have exams. So exams are like inbuilt within us, assessments, to be very clear about. So let me just... As I keep on saying that we need to ensure that there is enough rigor. अब इसका मतलब क्या है? I would just take a few seconds to understand this particular word rigor. Rigor का मतलब होता है कोई चीज के ऊपर बार बार काम करना, या कोई चीज को उतना स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाना, उतना पावरफुल बनाना. ओके, कई बार ये आक्षेप उठता है कि ऑनलाइन लर्निंग जो है वो तो यूं ही हो जाती है. No, there are people who keep on saying that it's very easy. Online courses lack rigor. क्यों? क्योंकि हमें पता ही नहीं है कि स्टूडेंट्स ने वो चीज देखी या नहीं देखी, स्टूडेंट्स ने असाइनमेंट्स किए या नहीं किए, कितने किए, किसी की हेल्प से किए या नहीं किए. So this objection is often there. But assessments in online courses will ensure that ये objection को हम erase करें, ये objection के ऊपर हम जाएं. Because you can have rigor in online courses, and there is rigor. कई online courses में passing percentages 80% भी होते हैं. You can always introduce rigor. You can introduce rigor in 2-3 multiple ways. आप ज़्यादा exams ले सकते हो, आप ज़्यादा difficult questions पूछ सकते हो. There are so many things that you can do. But assessment in an online course will always ensure that the course is rigorous. ऐसा नहीं कि बस चलते फिरते में हो गया. Okay, that is the major objection, and therefore we say that you have to have assessments. Also, week-wise progress, unit-wise progress, module-wise progress. जब एक learner के हिसाब से हम देखें तो learner को भी ये फायदा होता है कि अच्छा मुझे ना first module करने में बहुत time लगा था, तो मैं second module के लिए थोड़ा brace up कर लूं, and then let me just focus on this particular part. Same way for the teacher also. That this particular module took more time for the students. ये particular module में quiz में या assessment में उतना अच्छा स्कोरिंग नहीं हुआ है, तो शायद मुझे ये पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक को दोबारा से सिखाना चाहिए क्या? Do I need to actually again, like explain certain things? Do I need to add something extra to this? So even all those things the teacher can decide. It also allows the learners to showcase what they have learned. It's not always just what the teacher is giving as the content, but how can the learner also then understand that yes, this is my learning, ye maine padha hai, ye mujhe samajh aa gaya hai. So this particular method of assessment should enable the learners to show what they have learned and not just rote learn and write it. And not also just Google up somewhere and check out the answer and write. This is another main part because we are talking about learners becoming self-directed learners. तो एक learner को भी ये पता होना चाहिए कि मेरे strengths क्या हैं, मेरे weak points क्या हैं, और अगर ये मेरा weak point है तो मैं इसको क्या level तक इस weak point को निकाल सकूं, और अगर ये मेरा strong point है तो मुझे इस strong point के basis के ऊपर मुझे और क्या करना चाहिए. So a self-directed learner should always know their own strengths and weakness. And of course, it gives the feedback to the teacher that what is this course all about? Are the students actually learning? How much is the learning? What extent is the learning? Is this course being accepted very well? And so on and so forth. So as in everything, there will definitely be some benefits and some limitations. I know that people have started to think about, are you thinking first about the benefits or are you thinking first about the limitations? If you're thinking first about the limitations, put up your thumbs up. There is this facility in Zoom, which you can use. Raised hand, you want to ask a question? Or it is that you're saying that, yes, you have thought about it. Okay, I can see a couple of people who have either raised their hands or they have put up a question, and I can see a few people smiling also. I think Shailija from Telangana is having a very nice smile. And does she mean to say something? Does she want to say something? No? Okay. Because yeah, the most from Assam, Sinmoy, if I'm pronouncing your name correct, you have raised your hand. Is it to say something? You want to ask something or you are agreeing? Okay, now there are 35 comments in the chat. Okay, people are putting thumbs up in the chat. That's also fine. So many people, what happens is the moment we talk about online assessment, people will first think about limitations. It's human tendency to talk about the negative things first, I guess, rather than positive. But let's get into the positives first. So what are the benefits? Of course, it's very flexible, right? You can take the test. You can schedule the test as a teacher. The highest level is where the learner can take the test from anywhere, anytime. That is what is the aim. But yeah, it gives a lot of flexibility. It also ensures that the learner can do repeated practice. Those who have taken online courses at certain platforms, you will see that there is a deadline. And till that deadline, you can take the test multiple times. You can take the test and only the last one is going to be counted for. So if you're not very happy with your own performance and you feel that you can want to change a little bit, you can still do that. So you can have a repeated practice as well. For the teacher, for the teacher in me, it's grading is the task that takes the longest time. And it's very time consuming and tedious also. It's also the place where manual errors can happen a lot. And therefore, if we are going in for online tools, it enhances the accuracy. You are a little bit relaxed once you decide what are going to be the parameters. Also, you can, once you have done with the questions, you can save them as your question bank, and then you can, multiply it and mix and match and reuse and restore. Also, to ensure that there are no malpractices or reduced malpractices, you can always shuffle and randomize the assessment questions. And now that we are talking about malpractices, yes, it it is, right? It is one major concern that we think about. It's also because there are lots of stakes. In India, we give like very high importance to exams. So most of the exams are high stakes exams. And it's only because it is high stakes, it leads to malpractice. मतलब अगर मेरा बहुत कुछ उस एग्जाम के रिजल्ट के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है, तो फिर टेंडेंसी चीट करने की ज्यादा होगी. लेकिन अगर हम मल्टीपल टाइम्स बहुत ज्यादा वक्त में या बहुत ज्यादा बार अगर हम एग्जाम ले रहे हैं, अगर हम असेसमेंट ले रहे हैं और एक कंटिन्यूअसली हम असेस कर रहे हैं, तो शायद वो माल प्रैक्टिस को हम कम कर सकते हैं. ये दूसरी चीज, क्योंकि ऑनलाइन एग्जाम होगी तो डिपेंडेंसी तो रहेगी, इंटरनेट की अवेलेबिलिटी पर, कंप्यूटर लिटरेसी ज्यादा होगी. सो कई बार ये एक ऑब्जेक्शन बहुत मेजरली उठ के आता है कि सराउंडिंग कंडीशंस इक्विटेबल नहीं होते. जैसे मैं अगर यहाँ से एग्जाम दे रही हूँ तो वो मेरा कंडीशन अलग होगा एज कम्पेयर टू अ फ्यू अदर पीपल हु आर सिटिंग इन सम अदर डिस्ट्रिक्ट. सो इक्विटेबल कंडीशन शायद हम ना दे पाए. दैट इज अ मेजर लिमिटेशन with respect to high computer literacy, availability of internet, technical equipment. And also this is another major thing जो objection उठाया जाता है कि इसमें हम summative assessments को बहुत limited way से रख सकते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है हालांकि, क्योंकि बहुत सारे tools हैं जो ये सब available करा के देते हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोगों को ऐसा लगता है, it can be termed as a balance between a conception and a misconception. But yes, थोड़ा बहुत limitations तो रहेगा. As we go on ahead, I can see some messages in the chat. Online has capability to have more types of questions, improved achievement. Yeah, very nice. More types of questions. से भी मैं ज़्यादा बोलूँगी. More type of interactive questions. I should put it that way. That would make it much better sense rather than just saying that more type of questions. And yes, we can have lots and lots of multiple types of ways for summative assessment, and we can go into very different types of things that we are going to see today. That is why this session, so as to bust the myths that are there कि इतना ही कर सकते हैं online. So let's just talk about these. Now again comes a reflective question where again you are going to use your raise hand or a thumbs up. What you can see is something where आप उसको retry कर सकते हो अगर आंसर गलत हुआ तो. ये गेम्स में भी होता है, ठीक है, और ये नेक्स्ट पे जाएगा अगर आपका आंसर करेक्ट है तो मेरा सवाल ये है, आई नो आई एम ट्राइंग टू लाइक जंप अ लिटिल बिट. आपको मैं पूछ रही हूँ कि ये फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट है कि नहीं है, क्योंकि आप सब टीचर्स हैं तो मैं थोड़ा जंप ले रही हूँ बिफोर आई गेट इनटू दिस की फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट क्या है, समेटिव असेसमेंट क्या है. हम थोड़ी ना बीएड की क्लास कर रहे हैं, आप तो सब टीचर्स हैं तो आपको तो पता है. सो इज इट और इज इट नॉट? सम पीपल आर सेइंग यस, सम पीपल आर सेइंग नो, एंड लेट मी जस्ट टेक अ व्हाइल टू like let people say yes or no. Yes it is, no it is, this is part, this is not a part, because ये सारे questions जो है ना यही clear करने के लिए आज का session है. Okay, there are lots of people who are saying yes and there are a few people who are saying no. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ के देखते हैं कि ये question तब तक दिमाग में चलता रहे आपके, and then when I ask you again then you can clarify, because the session is going to like I'm taking this ahead from here, and we are going to now talk of what are the types of assessment in an online course. So there are some that we can take using the inbuilt tools जो एक platform के अंदर होते हैं. यानी अगर हम कोई LMS या कोई platform या कोई portal जिस पर हमारा कोर्स ऑफर करते हैं तो उसी के अंदर कुछ tools होते हैं जो हम लेंगे. जैसे जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में मैं काम करती हूँ उसके पोर्टल के अंदर हमारे पास डिबेट वाला भी इनबिल्ट है, ठीक है. दीक्षा के पास कुछ और है, स्वयं के पास कुछ और है. तो इनबिल्ट टूल्स में कई बार हम ऑब्जेक्टिव भी ले सकते हैं, हम सब्जेक्टिव भी ले सकते हैं, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन आपका प्लेटफॉर्म आपको क्या फंक्शन देता है. यूजुअली फंक्शन को हम अगर आप कहीं गूगल करेंगे तो आपको और एक वर्ड भी नजर आएगा, उसको कहते हैं अफोर्डेंसेस. तो क्या हम क्या अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं ना, उसी तरीके से प्लेटफॉर्म क्या अफोर्ड कर सकता है पूछना। सो ऑब्जेक्टिव भी पूछ सकते हैं, सब्जेक्टिव भी पूछ सकते हैं, और हाँ पीयर ग्रेडिंग भी हो सकती है, पीयर असेसमेंट भी हो सकती है अगर आपका प्लेटफॉर्म आपको अलाउ करता है तो। इसके अलावा और भी कुछ कुछ चीजें होती हैं, लेकिन ये तीनों चीजें हम अब स्वयं के प्लेटफॉर्म में हम देखते हैं। उसके साथ में अगर आपने ये नोटिस किया होगा, या आप लोगों में से किसी ने अगर कोर्सेज ऑफर किए होंगे या लिए होंगे आपके स्कूल्स में, आपके वर्क प्लेसेस में, कोई एक प्लेटफॉर्म होगा जिसके अंदर हम एक्सटर्नल टूल को एम्बेड कर सकते हैं। यानी वो उसके अंदर इनबिल्ट नहीं होता, लेकिन इनबिल्ट की तरह उसको एम्बेड किया जाता है। जैसे सबसे कॉमन एग्जांपल अगर मैं लूं तो इसको हम लेमैन टर्म्स में हम प्लगइन्स भी बोलते हैं, और इसका सबसे आसान एग्जांपल जो सबसे कॉमन है वो है मूडल प्लेटफॉर्म पर H5P का प्लगइन। जिन्होंने मूडल को यूज किया है या कभी देखा है तो आप उसका जो H5P का प्लगइन है आप वो देख सकते हैं, और कुछ कुछ जगह पर आप क्रॉसवर्ड्स एनेबल कर सकते हैं, स्नेक्स एंड लैडर्स एनेबल कर सकते हैं, वो इनबिल्ट टूल्स में भी हैं कि कुछ प्लेटफॉर्म्स के अंदर। तो ये इनबिल्ट भी हो सकता है और एम्बेड भी हो सकता है। और तीसरा तरीका जो मेरे ख्याल से 2 सालों में हमने सबसे ज्यादा जो यूज किया है वो है एक्सटर्नल टूल्स। ओके, जिस तरीके से हम एक्सटर्नल टूल्स को इस्तेमाल करते हैं उसका कहीं पे कोई प्लगइन नहीं होता, वो टोटली एक एक्सटर्नल टूल होता है, और हम उसको एक्सटर्नल लिंक के माध्यम से ही एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। सो व्हाट वी डू इज we actually create a particular quiz or a particular assessment, we click on share and then we share the link exactly जिस तरीके से मैंने अभी Mentimeter की लिंक शेयर की थी। ठीक है, तो Mentimeter Zoom के अंदर नहीं है, वो उसका इनबिल्ट नहीं है। हाँ, मैं पोल करा सकती हूँ, यहाँ पर Zoom के अंदर पोल होता है, वो मैं करा सकती हूँ, लेकिन वो इनबिल्ट है। लेकिन जो अभी मैंने किया Mentimeter, वो क्या था, वो एक्सटर्नल टूल था जिसकी मैंने लिंक आपको दी थी। अच्छा, ये दोनों चीजें, जबकि इसमें पोल है अगर जूम में, तो मैंने जूम का पोल यूज क्यों नहीं किया, मैंने Mentimeter क्यों अलाउ किया। ठीक है, तो इसका थोड़ा सा समझ लेते हैं क्यों किया। अगर मैं पोल लेती जूम के अंदर तो मुझे आपको ऑप्शंस देने पड़ते, और वो ऑप्शंस में आप वोटिंग करते, एक ग्राफ बन के आता जैसे हम केबीसी में देखते हैं वैसा। लेकिन आपको अगर दूसरी और भी चीजें लिखनी होती तो फिर आप कैसे लिखोगे। तो मुझे Mentimeter देने के बाद what happened was I got a word cloud. So I am allowing you to type whatever you want to type, and at the same time I'm seeing it everywhere. There are multiple tools that can do this, but it is fun to see कि कोई भी कुछ टाइप करता है तो word cloud कैसे change होता है, right? So it's fun to see that also, and it keeps you engaged. So I used an external tool. If you have noticed, उसने कभी भी आपको ये नहीं पूछा कि आप कौन है, आपका ईमेल आईडी दीजिए, आपको कहीं लॉग इन करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी। तो थोड़ा सोचिए तो जरा कि इनबिल्ट और एम्बेडेड टूल का फायदा क्या होता है। डेटा कैप्चर होता है, मतलब किसने क्या कब बताया, कब दिया, ये सब कैप्चर होता है, सारा डिटेल्स में होता है। Whereas in the external tools, this data may not be captured. Some of them they do allow, but not all. जैसे ये Mentimeter जो किया अभी हमने, I know that there would be like अब तक तो, और मैंने allow किया था every person can attempt 3 times, तो आप 3 words input कर सकते थे। More than 100 words तो आ गए, but I do not know who has answered what. It also assures me कि आपको भी assurance मिलता है कि especially in the class कि अगर आपको मतलब नहीं चाहिए कि कौन से स्टूडेंट ने क्या आंसर किया, क्योंकि कभी कभी क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो डिबेटेबल होते हैं, तो स्टूडेंट्स आर स्केयर्ड ऑफ आंसरिंग कि बाद में टीचर कुछ कहेंगे तो नहीं। सो एट दैट टाइम यस, यू डोंट नीड द one-to-one data, but this is one main, I should say, limitation, not a problem, when we are using external tools, that the entire data may not be captured. Okay, I'll just tell you one thing. I can see some people who are actually writing down in the notebook. noting down the points. It's great to see that, but coming from the EdTech background, what I would say is, why don't you just press print screen? You know, my slides will have a lot of screenshot moments. So just take screenshot le lijiye and keep on making notes. Because I can see 2-3 people like writing whenever I say something. So it's good if you're writing that, but yeah, there's also one easy thing. So now, what are the types of external tools? I'm going to have some color codes also, and I am just wondering whether you have used any of these. Like we have hot potatoes, we have Testmos, we have Socrative, we have quizzes, we have Quizlet, and there's one. Okay. But I have put some different colors to it. So why are these colors different? Does anyone want to unmute? We can take 3 people if they want to unmute and say why these colors are different. You can just raise your hand and then you can unmute. And we'll wait for a couple of seconds. Or if you want to chat, you can do that as well. Yeah, Kahoot. Yes. Any answers as to what is the logic of color coding? Okay, I can see 2 messages in the chat. Free to you to emphasize and make it attractive? No. Maybe of same kind, indicative of something. Yes, indicative of something. Well, this is what we can take up ahead. It indicates the nature. That means hot potatoes, color dekhiye. They are those tools which are free and open source software. So they are also called as FOSS, free and open source. We have been talking about this right since Monday, free and open source kya hota hai. There are a lot of terms that we have been using. Testmos, Blue hai. It is proprietary with limited free trials. बहुत कम trials देता है वो, शायद से सिर्फ 4. And the others which are in light orange, they're freemium. मतलब कुछ certain part के लिए आप उसको freely use कर सकते हैं और बाद में आपको उसको खरीदना पड़ेगा. So this is the way the external tools are also available, which you can use. Remember that inbuilt tools होते हैं वो platform या LMS या portal के अंदर खुद के होते हैं. Embedded जो उनके अंदर नहीं होते, but हम उसको embed कर सकते हैं. And external जिसमें हमें link भेजनी पड़ती है अलग से. And so in the external tools we have again 3 types. One is FOSS, one is proprietary, and one is freemium. So these are very few examples, which are, I suppose they are commonly used by school teachers. And in the past 2 years, as per my experience, I have heard and I have seen many teachers use these other than the ones that are being mentioned in the chat. Okay. Arjun sir is saying these are new terms. Yes, they are new terms. They are not terms as such. They are the names of the tools. In the next session, sir, हम ये वाले tools use करके assessments बनाएंगे. But to understand कि कौन सा free है, कौन सा free open source है, कौन सा proprietary है और कौन सा premium है, I have color coded it. So you can, there are multiple of them which people are actually putting up in the chat, and a very nice comprehensive list is also coming up. I hope I answered your question. Yeah, it's saying, okay. Yeah. All right. So now my question. अभी तो हमने use किया ना Mentimeter. तो क्या आप Mentimeter को आपके online course में use कर सकते हो? Mentimeter हुआ, Kahoot किसी ने कहा था. Can you use Kahoot? Can you use Mentimeter or any type of a polling thing in your online course, especially Kahoot Mentimeter? Okay, there are 7, 8. Oh, the chat is like full of people. People are saying no, yes, no. Okay. Okay, does anyone want to unmute and say why no? You can just raise your hand and then unmute. Because no is the correct answer, but why? At least that should give you some satisfaction that हाँ हमारा आंसर तो राइट था. साक्षी जी, yes. Sakshi ji, can you unmute yourself? If not, then should we go to Lakshmi Nathan sir from Telangana? And if he is also not able to, then we'll go to the third person that is, I can see, is Vijay Kumar sir from HP. Can any one of you three unmute yourself? Okay, then I guess you'll have to put it in the chat box then, because you're not able to unmute. Okay, till then there are 26 answers here. It's not feasible for asynchronous learning. Yes, perfect. So happy to see the answers so much on spot that it's not possible, because your online course works in a way that you're not present there. It's asynchronous, right? Your online course का जो main तरीका है, जो main fundamental difference है वो ये है कि आपको ना हर बार ये सोचना है कि मैं तो हूँ ही नहीं यहाँ पर, मेरे absence में learning भी हो रही है, मेरे absence में teaching भी हो रही है, मेरे absence में assessment भी हो रही है. तो अगर मेरे absence में हो रही है तो मैं Mentimeter कैसे दूँ? Because these tools are better in synchronous sessions, like a Mentimeter, like a poll, but not in the actual asynchronous type of online learning or online course. You can of course include it if you are conducting a live interaction in an online course someday, then you can include, but otherwise, nahi ho sakta. It's better not. हाँ, so किसी ने ना बहुत सारे type of questions की बात की थी, okay? And we have these type of things, and we also have those two terms that you have been talking about. And I hope you all remember what is the difference between MOOC and SPOC, spook. याद है ना? थोड़ा सा एक मिनट का टाइम लेना है सोचने के लिए. So आप सोच लीजिए और दोबारा से ऐसे ही होगा. अब हम पोलिंग रेज्ड हैंड से ही करेंगे, लेकिन ये रेज्ड हैंड में आपको बात नहीं करनी है. आप यू कैन यूज द थम्स अप और द रेज्ड हैंड. आपको क्या लगता है एक ऑटोमेटेड यानी अपने आप ग्रेडिंग हो जाए, आपको बैठ के पेपर चेक नहीं करने पड़े, ऐसी वाली कंडीशन, ऐसा वाला असाइनमेंट, ऐसे वाले असेसमेंट रादर मूक में बेटर है, स्पूक में बेटर है? बेटर है नहीं है? क्या आप कर सकते हैं? नहीं कर सकते. ये तो सब ढका हुआ है, इसके लिए वो थोड़ा टेढ़े मेढ़े टाइल्स दिख रहे हैं, वो उड़ेंगे जैसे जैसे आप लोग जवाब दोगे वैसे. सो कैन यू ऑटोमेट or should you automate in a MOOC? Is it possible to automate assessments? Is it better to automate assessments in a MOOC? Oh, the chat is full. MOOC is better. MOOC is better. MOOC, yes. Okay, great. So yes, it has to be a part of MOOC because simply because MOOCs may more than 1,000 people. उतना सारा correction, my God. स्पूक में हो सकता है, मैंने शायद से कुछ ज्यादा ही जल्दी दबा दी, ठीक है. स्पूक में हो सकता है, बट अगर नहीं भी करेंगे ऑटोमेट तो चलेगा. और क्योंकि अब ये एक आंसर मैल प्रैक्टिस की तरह आ ही गया था, तो ठीक है, अब इसको हम कर ही लेते हैं. अब थर्ड वाला बताइए. ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन कहाँ होने चाहिए? मूक में होने चाहिए, स्पूक में होने चाहिए? अच्छा, अगर मूक में आप हाँ बोलते हैं तो आप यस बोल दीजिए, मतलब रेज हैंड या थम्स अप डालिए. टीचर्स आर वेरी 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 एक्टिव हियर. मतलब मेरी आंखें ऐसी ऐसी हो रही है कि मैं चैट में कितने नंबर्स आ रहे हैं वो देखूं या यहाँ पर ये करूं. बोथ. या सो ऑफ कोर्स व्हेन वी से बोथ, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट इसको बिल्कुल मत कीजिए. सो द टिक मार्क इज देयर, दैट मीन्स इट इज पॉसिबल ऑफ कोर्स, बट बेटर इन दिस, बेटर इन दैट, वैसा वाला कि अगर ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप रखना जरूरी है क्या स्पूक में या मूक में ज्यादा बेटर है. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग, दैट इज व्हाट वी आर थिंकिंग अबाउट. दोनों में हो सकता है, लेकिन मूक में तो करना ही पड़ेगा ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप, क्योंकि हमारे पास बहुत ज्यादा लोग हैं, बहुत ज्यादा लर्नर्स हैं. नाउ कम्स द सब्जेक्टिव. अब बोलिए सब्जेक्टिव के लिए मूक या स्पूक? अब इसमें भी कोई बोथ बोलेगा कि बाप रे 55 60 चैट मैसेजेस. ओके, both. Okay, perfect. Saying it will be in spook. I will give the credit of benefit of doubt, as we say cricket ke terms mein, when someone has said both, because I can do that in a MOOC provided that I have a big team. मेरे पास अगर बहुत बड़ी टीम होगी ना जो सब्जेक्टिव टाइप के क्वेश्चंस भी चेक करे तो ही मैं कर सकती हूँ. सो देयर इज अ डिपेंडेंसी देयर. तो हम ये नहीं बोल सकते हैं कि MOOC में भी हम सब्जेक्टिव टाइप के क्वेश्चंस ले सकते हैं अनलेस एंड अनटिल या तो हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म उतना रोबस्ट होना चाहिए या तो हमारे पास टीम वैसी होनी चाहिए. ओके, एंड द लास्ट स्केलेबल. मतलब आज अगर मैंने कोई टेस्ट कंडक्ट किया है, असेसमेंट मैंने डिजाइन किया है जो 1000 लोगों के लिए काम आ जाएगा, उतना मेरा क्वेश्चन बैंक है जो रैंडमाइज करेगा. ठीक है, कैन आई डू दिस फॉर 1 lakh students? Is that possible? Scalability, is it possible? Okay. In MOOCs, very quickly the answers are coming. Yes, it is possible in MOOCs, not in spooks, because हमारे spooks में हम एक छोटे ग्रुप को लेकर सोचते हैं, तो जरूरी नहीं है कि सारे questions scalable हो. So these are the main things that a teacher should always keep in mind when we are going from actual classroom teaching to any online course, and whether it's a spook and then when we are transforming it into a MOOC. Okay, so I can probably ask some qualitative assessments in the spook, but it may not be possible in the MOOC. So मेरा spook तो बहुत super hit था, तो मैं वैसे का वैसे ही उसको नहीं डाल सकती as a MOOC. So these are the things that we need to remember as we are doing the development of the courses and the development of assessments. Okay, so again we have this main thing in any assessment in an online course depends on 2 things. One is the purpose, the other is the timing. So what is the purpose of taking an assessment? Now these are the terms that almost all teachers use very, very frequently. So I don't think there's much to explain, but just a little bit that yes, the purpose can be either diagnostic or summative or formative. At the same time, it could also be based on timing. That is, I'm taking assessment continuously, that is throughout the course, as you know. Terminal, that is towards the end of the course, towards the end of the module, whatever. And this, that is retrospective, after the end of my online course. Now I have finished certification, I have done everything. After that, we again sit and we see what worked, what did not work. And then we change, make certain modifications of what did not work, and then rerun the course. Because an online course का benefit ये है कि आप course को rerun करोगे ही करोगे. अगर आप हर semester में नहीं कर रहे तो हर साल जरूर करोगे. So if you're developing a training program, let us say this is for you all. If you are developing a training program, maybe not for your students, but for your peers, your teachers in your state, and you're offering it online. So maybe the first time that you're offering it, you can take a retrospective look at it, seeing that what did work, what didn't work, and then let me check. That's the evaluation part, right? And you can also take feedback from the students. So the timing can be also this. Now, according to the purpose, we are having multiple types of things in an online part. So as per the purpose, the first one is the entry behavior. Many a times, this is also called as diagnostic, yes, but we specifically call this as an entry behavior test because we are checking what is the entry part, okay? This necessarily has to be done in week 0, as we call it in terms of online course development. That is even before the actual course begins. This is to know that what is the skill set of the learners that are there when they enroll into your course. Now here, even if I mention students, they need not be students. They can be any learners who are interested in knowing this. Just a minute, I can see some messages in chat. Yeah, get yourself, yeah, in counseling also. Yes. So we can use all of this for the purpose, for the time, and also for the entry behavior. I'm going from the beginning to the end first, and then we will talk of whatever it comes in between the start and the end. So what happens to the end, towards the end, is summative. That's at the end of the course. And at that particular part, you are giving a number. You are actually trying to say that, yes, this person is qualified now with this skill set at this particular level. So kind of, certification part. So summative is where the learners will understand their level of learning, maybe as an assessment with a number or a grade. It depends upon what the certifying body says. There's a message, yes, certification, exactly. And then, like I said, whatever happens in between the start and the end, that is whatever happens in between the beginning and the end is formative. So it takes place throughout the course. It may differ from instructor to instructor, like teacher to teacher. कोई टीचर होगा जो बोलेगा मैं हर मॉड्यूल के बाद में टेस्ट लूं, कोई बोलेगा मैं हर वीक के बाद में लूं, कोई बोलेगा मैं वीक में 2 बार लूं. So throughout the course, different types. Because of this, what happens is I start understanding कि मेरा जो students है मेरे, जो मैं strategies use कर रही हूँ, उनके learning outcomes, उनके learning goals achieve कराने के लिए क्या वो achieve हो रहे हैं, क्या मुझे कुछ extra देना पड़ेगा. So this is a continuous feedback not only for the students about their learning, but also continuous feedback to the teacher about how the teacher can bring about more material, more content, and more other strategies to ensure that learning outcomes is reached. Okay. Again, there are a few messages in the chat. According to the need and improve continuous improvement. Yes, perfect. So now, again, here comes, I'll give you a moment to take the question. Then again, I will have to stop the screen share so that I can share the link of the Padlet. अब आप इमेजिन कीजिए कि आप एक ऑनलाइन कोर्स चलाने वाले हैं. हो सकता है यही वाला कोर्स हो, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ई कंटेंट. आपके स्टेट में जाके आपको ये चीज, यही कोर्स को कंडक्ट करना है. तो आप क्या स्किल सेट, आपके एंट्री बिहेवियर टेस्ट में आप कौन से 3 एस्पेक्ट्स को इंपॉर्टेंस दोगे, जरा सोचिए. मैं पैडलेट की लिंक शेयर करती हूँ इन द चैट. आई विल बी शेयरिंग द पैडलेट लिंक. Please type on the Padlet so that I can share the Padlet screen. So all of us can see then who's typing what. Okay. So before I stop sharing the screen, once again, what are the 3 important aspects that you want? ऐसी कौन सी 3 चीजें हैं जो आपको चाहिए आपके entry behavior test में जो आए. ठीक है. So I'm going to stop my screen share and then let me put it first into the so here is the link and now I will be sharing my screen again. आपको वो क्वेश्चन दिख जाएगा, डोंट वरी. उस पैडलेट के ऊपर वो क्वेश्चन है. आप ना नीचे जो राइट हैंड कॉर्नर में प्लस का सिंबल है उस पर क्लिक करेंगे तो एक स्टिकी नोट जैसा कुछ ओपन हो जाएगा और फिर आप टाइप कर सकते हैं. शुड आई शो यू हियर? सी लाइक नाउ द स्क्रीन इज बीइंग शेयर्ड. ये प्लस साइन है जो पेंसिल में कन्वर्ट हो गई एंड देन यू क्लिक हियर. अब लोगों ने तो आने लग गए. ग्रेट. प्रीवियस नॉलेज ऑफ लैपटॉप, पीसी, इंटरनेट, मतलब आप सोच रहे हैं कि कंप्यूटर स्किल्स, राइट? ठीक है. हाँ, either he needs it or not. Very nice. Pre-test, computer skills. Pre-test जिसने लिखा है, क्या वो वहीं पे ये लिख सकते हैं आप कि pre-test में आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं? Basic knowledge, Availability of resources, who's the target audience? Nice. Just note, there is one person here who has written his name. Okay. This is like giving option. अगर आपको आपका नाम लिखना है तो आप लिखे, आपको नहीं लिखना है, आपको anonymously टाइप करना है, आप anonymously भी टाइप कर सकते हैं. किसी ने बच्चों की कंप्यूटर की समझ और स्थानीय स्थिति, यस, स्थानीय स्थिति मतलब कंटेक्चुअलाइजेशन, कि आप ये ई कंटेंट का कोर्स कराने के बाद में आप क्या चाहते हैं. क्या ये आपके स्टेट में अगर बिल्कुल ही नहीं हुआ है, ऐसे तो नहीं हो सकता 2 सालों में, लेकिन और वी हैव डन ग्रेट वर्क इन इंडिया, सो ऐसे नहीं हो सकता कि नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन मे बी शायद हो सकता है कि कोई एकदम लोकलाइज्ड लैंग्वेज है जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना, जो एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में ही बोली जाती है, क्या उस लैंग्वेज में है. बिकॉज देर आर सर्टन रिटन लैंग्वेजेस होते हैं और कुछ सिर्फ ओरल लैंग्वेजेस होते हैं जिनकी कोई स्क्रिप्ट नहीं होती. अगर उसमें नहीं है तो क्या आप उसमें करना चाहते हैं. सो कैन दैट बी वाओ टेक्नोलॉजी savvy and just see because the touch screen I can see so many responses, right? Lesson planning, presentation, required skills, knowledge application. Great. So these are the 3 things that you are considering as an entry behavior test. यही मैं क्यों ये हमने किया है, ये पूरी एक्सरसाइज क्यों हमने की है. देखिए आप सबको ना एक ही क्वेश्चन है, राइट? मतलब मैंने आपके सबके सामने एक ही क्वेश्चन डाला है कि अगर आप ई कंटेंट डेवलपमेंट का कोर्स डेवलप करोगे तो आपको एंट्री बिहेवियर में कौन से 3 एस्पेक्ट्स चाहिए. सबके आंसर्स अलग अलग हैं. So this is the whole beauty of having an online course, that you may develop the course which looks like having the same title, but still your course will have a very unique service to the learners. वो uniqueness ही आपको बाकी courses से distinguish करेगा. So these are the things that each one of us should remember. And is the slide, I mean, is the screen visible of the slides? Can I just go with this? Yeah. So just going ahead, अब तो समझ आ गया कि एंट्री बिहेवियर टेस्ट में हमने 3 चीजें लिखी हैं. अब ये 3 चीजें एक्चुअल में है क्या? कुछ लोगों ने कहा कि नॉलेज, प्री नॉलेज बच्चों को चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए, नीड भी है या नहीं है, एंड सो मेनी अदर टाइप्स. अब इनको हम कैसे कैसे तरीकों से ले सकते हैं. किसी ने प्री टेस्ट भी लिखा था. I had requested the person to write a little bit in details about what do you mean by pre-test. I don't think I saw any addition there. If आप अगर चैट में डाल सकते हैं तो आप डाल दीजिए ताकि मैं उसको देखूं. एक तो होगा सर्वे. आप कितने एज के हैं, आप कहाँ से आए हैं, आप कौन से एरिया को बिलोंग करते हैं, आपको क्या आता है क्या नहीं आता है, ये लेने के लिए हम एक सर्वे भी ले सकते हैं. सुशील कुमार जी, आपका हाथ तो रेज्ड हैंड है, लेकिन मुझे नहीं लगता आपको अनम्यूट करने का प्रोविजन है. अगर आप अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं तो जरूर अनम्यूट करके बात कीजिए, अदरवाइज प्लीज पुट इन द चैट अगर आपका अनम्यूट डिसेबल्ड है तो. Okay, there's something in the chat. Demographic details, yes. Aptitude, life skill experiences, all of that can come. Pre-test can also be, entry behavior test can also be an achievement test. जो आप pre-test बोल रहे थे, क्या ये वही है जो आप कहना चाहते थे? There's something in the chat. Knowledge, aptitude, yes. Achievement test यानी हो सकता है कि मैं बोलूं मेरे ऑनलाइन कोर्स में एडमिशन उसी को मिलेगी जिसके पास 10th स्टैंडर्ड का सर्टिफिकेट है, मतलब जिसने 10th स्टैंडर्ड पास कर लिया है, ये कोर्स सिर्फ उन्हीं के लिए है. सो आई कैन ऑलवेज कंसिडर दैट एज अचीवमेंट टेस्ट, क्योंकि मुझे वो एंट्री बिहेवियर में उस लेवल के ये चाहिए है. आई कैन ऑल्सो हैव लेट अस से ग्रेड 7, अगर मैं मैथ्स का कोर्स कर रही हूँ तो बच्चों को लाइक डबल डिजिट नंबर्स तो आने चाहिए, उनका मल्टीप्लिकेशन आना चाहिए, क्योंकि मुझे एलसीएम सिखाना है इस पर्टिकुलर कोर्स में. सो आई कैन यूज दैट अचीवमेंट टेस्ट कि आप फाइनल एग्जाम का या यूनिट टेस्ट का मार्क्स कैन बी माय एंट्री बिहेवियर टेस्ट एज वेल. then I am having a question about this. Can I have a practical test? आप सोचते रहिए. Can I put a checklist? मुझे ये आता है, क्योंकि लोगों ने कहा ना अभी aptitude, skills. तो can I give a list? और मैं क्या बोल सकती हूँ मेरे learners को कि आपको जो जो आता है ना आप टिक मार्क कीजिए. Not always MCQ ना, जो सर्वे होता है उसमें यूजुअली हम MCQ या ग्रेड देते हैं. हम चेकलिस्ट भी तो डाल सकते हैं. मुझे ये आता है, ये मेरी लेवल 1 तक मुझे आती है वीडियो, लेवल 2 तक मुझे आता है रेडियो का इस्तेमाल करना, लेवल 3 तक आता है मुझे फोटो एडिटिंग. चेकलिस्ट है, सो आई कैन डू दैट. Many a times we call this as diagnostics or diagnostic tests or diagnostic assessment. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, प्रैक्टिकल टेस्ट हम ले तो सकते हैं एंट्री बिहेवियर एज एन एंट्री बिहेवियर, बट किस में ले सकते हैं? मूक में ले सकते हैं या स्पूक में ले सकते हैं? हाँ, चैट ही कीजिए. अदरवाइज अगर आप सोचते हैं कि मूक में भी प्रैक्टिकल टेस्ट हो सकता है तो आप रेज हैंड कीजिए. अगर आप सोचते हैं कि नहीं हो सकता तो रेज हैंड मत कीजिए. ओके, आई कैन सी 15. खटाखट स्पूक. ओके, बोथ. जो लोग बोथ बोल रहे हैं उनमें से कोई बताएगा कि कैसे कर सकते हो आप प्रैक्टिकल टेस्ट मूक में? आपके पास 1000-2000 लोग हैं, सो प्रैक्टिकल टेस्ट तो उतना नहीं कर पाओगे आप. या Fernandez sir, Joel Fernandez, I don't think you can unmute yourself. Could you please type in the chat box what you want to type? Like, what is your viewpoint?
Yeah,
Can...
hello, ma'am.
Yeah, you can unmute. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Yes, the way you were saying earlier, if the team is filled, then we can maybe have it in MOOC itself. But if your team is of few people, then it's not possible. Otherwise, it's only for Spoke.
Yeah, thanks. If only the team is there and only if the platforms are conducive to taking a practical test, only then. So there are lots of ifs and buts. But for the others, yes, you can directly connect. Yeah, thanks for that input, Joel sir, if I am taking your name, pronouncing it correctly. Okay, so going ahead with the summative tests. Because like I said, we'll first do the beginning, we'll then do the end, and then we will do whatever comes in between. Because that way it's easier. So what are things can we ask in a summative assessment? Let's first know that it can be done, of course, at the end for the certification purpose. It could take any of these. It could be a final exam that you go to a particular center. It could be a culminating project that is being submitted. It could be some performance task that you're supposed to do it. It could be a lot of things. And again, it would depend upon आप कौन सा प्लेटफॉर्म यूज कर रहे हैं, आपकी टीम कितनी बड़ी है, आप अकेले कर रहे हो, आपके स्टूडेंट्स का कंप्यूटर लिटरेसी क्या है, आपके पास क्या अवेलेबिलिटी है, and so on and so forth. There's going to be one more question that is going to come up where I want you all to keep on thinking. But most of the times, the summative assessment is linked to certification, because somewhere when you have completed it, of course, there are self-paced courses जिसमें कोई certification की exam नहीं होती है, but if you have completed something, you might want to carry this, that, oh yes, I got the certificate, not to put up on the social media, but just for yourself that, okay, I did this, I know this. So it's linked to certification most of the times. It could be a proctored exam. It could be an invigilated exam. And this is where I want you to think. Proctoring मतलब हम जैसे Zoom ले रहे हैं अभी, just imagine कीजिए ये कि आप लोग सब मेरे students हैं, and I am telling you to write the paper in front of me, and I'm asking you to keep your videos on so that I can see this, what's happening, and I'm proctoring you. Is that a good choice of taking an exam? And when? Will it work for a MOOC? Will it work for a Spook? So just keep on thinking. By the time the points end, we will come back to the chat where you will be putting up your thoughts about it. Summative assessments can be taken online as an online test where it could be proctored, it could not be proctored. There are certain courses, the platforms do not need proctoring at all. Even that is possible. Or like Swayam conducts it at one particular center, you go on a particular date and you give the exam, which is offline. It's also possible to take a blended one. Okay. So there are certain benchmarks, there are certain passing criteria that the certifying body decides. And only on the basis of that passing criteria, that benchmark, the certification is given. Now I can see some 10 chats, 10 messages in the chat box. Yes. So, proctored and invigilated exam, when? In a MOOC or in a SPOOK? Keep answering in the chat. And certain time, certain date. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so formative assessments. Yeah, I can see the chat. Please keep chatting. And this is carried throughout the course. It can be, not all formative assessments need to be graded. Some of them can be non-graded. We can keep them just for fun's sake also, just for engagement purpose. And to get a feedback whether what we are doing is, like, is it reaching to the students? It gives us a feedback so that we can orchestrate the course. Thoda sa kuch change karna hai, kuch extra material dena hai, we can do that as well. And the most important thing, it will be required to close the gap. Matlab if we feel ki itne material se agar nahi ho raha, learning outcome achieve nahi ho raha hai, so we will add some extra material, we will do certain things because of which whatever we desire कि ये learning outcome reach होना चाहिए और जो actual में achieve हो रहा है उसके बीच के gap कम हो जाए. It is too much to think कि जो मैंने learning outcome desire किया है वो सारा का सारा achieve होगा. There will always be a gap, but let that gap be as minimum as possible, not this much. Okay, so let's use the formative assessments for that. And there is a Mentimeter thing, but I think we can skip this and we can directly go to, I don't think here anyone is there because of the previous messages that have come up with कि हमने ये tools use किए हैं, तो I don't think कि मुझे ये question Mentimeter पे लेने की जरूरत है. Almost the tools के नाम already आ चुके हैं chat में. So let's just quickly go through this, and I'm not putting that animation also. If we are going to use a quiz with an inbuilt thing in a platform, it definitely works. It works well for a MOOC. It works best if we are using Padlet and Jamboard if it is a SPOOK. It can also work for the MOOC. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि नहीं यूज कर सकते हो आप. Blogs, journaling, peer assessment, ये सब plugins के ऊपर depend करता है. तो अगर plugin में है, platform में है, तो MOOC में, otherwise better in SPOOK. And one thing that someone had mentioned there, that we can take a lot more types of assessments, is the multimedia assessments. The one that I really love. You can ask your students to send you photos, make short videos, blog, send voice threads, and so on. So you can ask them to draw a concept map, a Padlet, an infographic, make a journal, send voice thread जिसके ऊपर लोग फिर बाद में comment भी करें, screencasts बनाओ, videos बनाओ, photos बनाओ. So these are different ways in which qualitative tools can be very effectively used in SPOOK specifically, and of course to an extent in MOOC depending upon the team, presence of team. But to do all this, you will need to have a rubric, and the rubric will have to be shared with the students before. Again, like I said, almost everyone here is an experienced teacher, so I don't necessarily have to explain what is a rubric. Many of the platforms will allow you to create a rubric, and then an extent of auto grading is also possible. Okay, but we need to understand that yes, we'll have to like classify the performance level, we'll have to give very distinct descriptors. तो एक स्टूडेंट को ना पता होना चाहिए, अगर मैंने ये किया तो ये मेरी लेवल है, अगर मैंने वो किया तो मेरी वो लेवल है, एंड each को एक नंबर दे देते हैं तो it becomes easy. This is the rubric that I have used for making concept maps for my student. और ये मैंने सिर्फ 1, 2, 3 में ग्रेड किया हुआ है, जिसमें मेरे लेवल्स भी हैं उसके हिसाब से. 3 is maximum, 1 is very less. So you can always create rubrics like this. Many of the platforms will allow you, like I said, to create this. There are also multiple other external tools like Ruby Star, where you can do this and it will be saved and it can be shared everywhere. So that again, hopefully you will be doing it in the practical session. And then, like everything else, whatever your student does, you need to store it. So an e-portfolio will actually store and record everything that your student has done, provided that, of course, you have data. So you will also be able to understand कि student जब enter हुआ था तो उसका ये level था, and then towards the end it was this level that was achieved, and that becomes a document which you can also hand over to the next year's teacher, and also the student will know the progress over the years. Again, there is a reflect wala question, but keeping the time constant in mind, what is the thing that helps us in certification is the learner data, which you get from the platform, which you get from the LMS, which you get from the LMS and the platform that you're using for certification. And what does this take us to? That the teachers need to understand analytics. Because unless and until I understand the analytics, I'm not going to be able to run a good online course. So एनालिटिक्स की वजह से मुझे ये पता चलेगा कि मेरे कौन से स्टूडेंट को कुछ एक्स्ट्रा हेल्प की जरूरत है. अगर मेरा कोई स्टूडेंट शायद से लिख नहीं पा रहा, तो क्या मैं उस स्टूडेंट को वॉइस वाला असाइनमेंट असेसमेंट दे सकती हूँ? Can I give multiple trials to a particular student so that he or she can reach the desired learning outcome? So it will help you to personalize learning for the student. It can also help you to predict कि अच्छा इसने ना consistently इतना perform किया है, मतलब शायद last में if all the things are same तो इसका last का performance भी यही हो सकता है. You can help them to visualize learning activities, and also, like I said, it helps you to orchestrate your online course by improving your learning material. जहाँ जो कम है वो desired outcome के towards जाए. Course analytics में जिस किसी ने तो demographics की बात की थी, तो yes, it is important for us to know कि user के demographics क्या है. और of course ये जो हम course analytics दिखा रहे हैं वो बहुत कम दिखा रहे हैं, examples हैं ये. हर एक प्लेटफॉर्म में अलग अलग टाइप के एनालिटिक्स होते हैं और हर टीचर को अलग लेवल के एनालिटिक्स को स्टडी करने की जरूरत है. हमें ये देखने को मिलना चाहिए मोर और लेस कि हमारे किस स्टूडेंट ने कब प्लेटफॉर्म एक्सेस किया है, कितनी देर तक एक्सेस किया है. ये अगर हम फाइंड आउट करें तो वी कैन you're not trying to become like a moral police, but we can keep a note. Can we see who has submitted assignment when? Are the people participating in the discussion? क्या यहाँ classroom type का environment चल रहा है? कोई isolated तो नहीं feel कर रहा? So all that type of things we can do. And also of course we can see the class analytics, the entire class का performance इस particular course में कैसा है, plus also the individual learner का हर एक का analytics. The thing that we ideally should be doing and should have been doing throughout. So portfolio and course analytics basically help us to understand the journey of a student from the initial phase to the end of the phase. And this is one way of course analytics, जो right hand side पे आपको red color की box दिख रही है. वो activity report है, किसने कब participate किया, कितना participate किया, कितने लोगों ने देखा, कब देखा, कितने time तक देखा. You can see all of that is there. And a good assessment cycle is when you frame the learning outcomes, you conduct the assessment after giving the teaching learning process, you gather the data, you analyze the learner and the course analytics data, you put that feedback into the course again, you reflect on how the course worked, what does not work, take action for the improvement, and set your learning objectives or learning outcomes again for the next cycle. So this is how the assessment cycle actually works, actually should work in an online course. And just remember that this is the quote, the end quote that is there for the cycle of assessment and for assessment in online learning. We are on dot. We have skipped a few things and we have brushed up through a few things so that we can take up some questions, like 5 minutes are still there. So if anyone wants to ask questions, then Dr. Angel, is it okay if we can take questions now? Yes, Vijay Kumarji. If you are able to unmute, yeah, please. I think if Joel sir was able to unmute, even you should be able to unmute. So, आप unmute कर दीजिए.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
First of all,
afternoon, Sanjay.
the session is very fruitful and knowledgeable. I would like to ask one question on rubrics.
Ji.
So, will you suggest some sites, some platform where we can take the rubrics?
You can create the rubrics, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, there is one which is Ruby Star. I'll put it in the chat.
Already there is a question, Dr. Ajita, that we want to know more about Ruby Star. So
I think in the
as I
practical
said-
session.
As I said in the morning, we have taken everything as a session in the webinar. So we will give the Ruby Stars rubrics links also with you, so that will be given as your extension learning links. So you can explore that and then come up with your questions in the learning management system.
Okay.
Keeping the time in view, we have left out with last 1 minute. We can
Yeah.
take one more question.
Is there any limitation for number of questions in the pre-test and post-test related to credit in MOOCs? No, it will depend on the certifying body that how many questions you can ask. Like there are certain platforms which say 50 questions, 50 minutes or 50 questions, 2 hours. So that depends on the certifying body.
Can I request the team to put up the attendance form so that we can keep taking another 2 more questions by the time attendance is filled. So can I request the team to put up the attendance sheet?
We have any other questions?
Yeah. We can there is no hand raise as such. If you have questions, you can raise your hands, virtual hands as well.
There were 3 questions that we have answered. Please share the MOOC and the Spook.
How can we capture data from H5P in Moodle? Is it addressed already or?
Yeah, we have. I can't see.
What are the ethical considerations
yes.
that should be taken into account while designing and implementing online assessment? Yeah.
Okay, very interesting question. Ethical consideration when you are saying the first and the foremost thing, I'm going to use certain words which are very colloquial in nature. And you'll have to excuse me for that usage, but the most ethical consideration is that your questions that you frame should not be Google questions. That is, the question should be asked in such a way that the students are not able to, easily Google it up and find out. So in other words, आप एक जगह से उठा के दूसरी जगह पे क्वेश्चन नहीं डाल सकते जो आसानी से कहीं क्वेश्चन मिल जाए तो वो नहीं कर सकते अच्छा स्केलेबल व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय स्केलेबल टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन scalable type of question is if I'm asking a particular objective question in a particular, let us say 100 का group and it works fine because उसमें randomization possible है तो क्या मेरे question bank जो मैंने 25 क्वेश्चन की या 50 क्वेश्चन की बनाई है so that 100 के इसमें तो 2 ही लोगों को वो क्वेश्चन आएगा is the same thing can I use it as it is when I have the Spoke converted to MOOC मेरे पास अगर 1000 लोग आ गए तो can I scale that same question bank that is what is the meaning of scalability there are some 7 Question should be unique. बोलने से भी question should be in such a way that they cannot be easily found. The answers to which cannot be easily found on Google or any internet device. In other words, what the teachers normally say that direct question, memory-based question. कि कहीं से भी उठाया, कोई book खोल दिया, नहीं होना चाहिए. So if a good open book test जो frame करते हैं, so that is how you should be able to frame, like application-based. Scalable question is if I have 50 questions and I have a group of 100, this is in English because someone has demanded, then the 50 questions, I can randomize it so that only 2 people will get the same question. So that will reduce the malpractice. But if the same question bank of 50 questions, if I have like thousands and more than 1,000 learners, then I cannot use the same question bank. Is it scalable? So I will have to have that big a question bank for my course to become scalable. I'm not saying that you can't do it. The only thing is I'll have to keep on adding questions so that later, whenever the Spoke gets converted into MOOC, Spoke to MOOC, yeah, it should be, the scalability should be possible. I think just look at the time.
How good is open book assessment?
It is very good as per my experience. It depends on the skill of the teacher to develop a good open book test. I'll just share an anecdote here. मेरे students क्या बोलते हैं पता है? माफ कर दो हमको, open book exam मत लो. Because I give them only 3 questions and I tell them 3, तुम्हारे पास 2 घंटे ले लो और answer करो. They say कि मैम आप है ना closed book test ले लो, आधे घंटे में हम लोग answer करेंगे because that will be more based. And I say no, it's going to be open book only. And because I teach e-learning course here, I say that it is open Google exam. I mean, go and search wherever you want to search, but come up with the answer. So, in fact, it is very difficult to frame an open book assessment. It's the skill of the teacher. And I'm still learning only. I know people who frame such excellent open book assessments that even I take a lot of time to, attempt those assessments. I'm fortunate to know such people. That keeps my brain working also.
Why assessment? Why exam is a question.
Oh, who is this? Who is asking? Because you are
totally... Bharat Prasad, sir.
Yeah. This is something like, exams, not as such, but you can have variety of exams. Like you can have jury-based exams, you can have viva voce type of exams. Exams should be there to a certain extent because there are multiple reasons for why exams should be there. But one, I'm not even talking about certification. I, as a self-directed learner, should know that yes, I was successful in completing the course. And that is one way. Exam or an assessment is one way in which I can know. I'm not even talking about the, mujhe kitna percentage aaya, what is my grade? No, we are talking about self-directed learning.
Hope you're completing the assessment. Completing your attendance form by the time we are doing this. So thank you, Dr. Ajita. Now I invite Ms. Kirti to wind up the session. Kirti. Okay. Anyway, then I'll take the privilege of thanking Dr. Ajita. So that's a good privilege because when you want to thank your own friend, it's so difficult. But still, I would officially like to thank Dr. Ajita for her extension and also support in taking this session as resource person and also helping us because I could see a lot of feedback already coming. This is one of the best sessions for some people, at least. Because usually assessment is a topic which most of them don't to listen. That's good that we could get this feedback for this session. So I know that Dr. Ajita has worked out to a lot to make this presentation more interactive in nature, being a little dry subject when others think about, though it's not for her. But it was a very good session. And I think like you have got a lot of information from this session. The actual challenge comes when you start working on creating an assessment, which we are going to do in our practicals, thinking about it and doing about it. So that's what we are going to do. So thank you, Dr. Ajita, for making everyone to be interactive and also making this as a meaningful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All PPTs are being shared and it is being uploaded, and there should not be a question at all. That
someone had asked about the
shared.
podcast. I will share the podcast link.
Yeah.
Right in the beginning, it was asked. Yeah, I'll share.
So this question should not even come from the participant who are with us for 3 days. Okay. So because every day we ensure that all the presentations are shared before you leave, like at least on the same day we are sharing, so that some people are really going through the presentation in the night, midnight also. So that is very promising for us to do some work before we close the day. Right? So that's a kind of people. So we will share that. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now let's take a break. Those who are still filling your attendance, because there is like 2-3 minutes more for closing the attendance. So complete your attendance. And then others, can you please put your podcast link, Dr. Ajita, in the chat box so that there are few people interested, so that.
Just 1 minute. I never kept it ready because.
So by the time you can search, don't worry.
Yeah, in the sense, I never thought that.
Because they'll be joining in the same meeting only. So you can put it when they come back, they'll be able to see it in the chat box as well. So thank you so much. And we will take a break now. We will meet after 15 minutes. I know there are so many people who are not able to join the LMS. So they are worried. They are keep on messaging. Don't worry, we will help you to resolve before you leave. Okay. So when you come back, those who are not registered, like those who have not already, we are registering the people who have already started filling the form. So once we register you, we will confirm. Then only though I wrote 4 p.m., you can check. Only after we confirm that you are registered, you need to check. Don't check till then. Just it's a waste of time for you. So don't check that one. So we can just go ahead and then do take a break, come back. Then we will start doing today's assessment, assignment. Then how do we submit that will be told to you tomorrow. So for tomorrow, there is no limit for 8:30. But it will be asked to be submitted tomorrow itself during the session. So don't wait to do it later. Complete and keep it today, so that when you come back for tomorrow's session, we will tell you how to submit it. So that is how we are going to work. You're going to submit all your assignments from now on in the portal itself. That's how we are going to work. Okay. So let's take a break for 15 minutes. So in my watch, it's 3:24. So we are going to be sharp by 3:45. Okay.